The Lord said unto Moses, When thou go back into Egypt, see that thou do before Pharaoh all the wonders which I have put in thy hand. But I will harden his heart, and he will not let the people go. Moses is creating a situation which is not solvable on any side. He seems to have discovered his identity as a Levite. Before Moses salvaged the identity of the Levites, they were known to be an aggressive establishment, a people who had been criticized by Jacob as undisciplined and unruly and angry, and therefore would be dispersed without land ownership in their nation. And that was the situation with Levi's older brother Reuben and Simeon, and would have been the same with the Levites had they not salvaged their identity through Moses, who seemed to discover the history of the Levites and pulled an interesting double entendre. He circumcised, or he caused, or he witnessed the circumcision of his son, and that was supposed to be a message for the Pharaoh, that he would tell the Pharaoh something about circumcision, that he was circumcised, that he was circumcising his son, that his allies would be circumcised, and that if there wanted to be an accommodation with the Pharaoh, then perhaps he too should be circumcised. Now, for the Pharaoh, with what we know of Hellenistic tastes for the perfection of the body, and that we know that the Egyptians did not circumcise in their earlier periods, and only later did they adopt the habit of circumcision. And in fact, we see demonstrations of Egyptians circumcising themselves en masse after a certain date. The question is, what was Moses saying? And what was God telling him to say in regards to circumcision? And in regards to the theme that Pharaoh's heart would be hardened. So here we see later on in the book of Leviticus and in Deuteronomy and in Jeremiah and in other places, the idea that circumcision is not only of the penis, but also of the heart and also of the ears. It means to feel and to have compassion and to have love of the heart is to be circumcised of heart. That the heart should be cut. It should be opened. It should be exposed to its emotions and not hard and numb like the heel of a foot. And so too of the ears, that they should be open and listening and aware and compassionate. And this was the analogy of the circumcision of the heart. And here, Moses was not allowing the Pharaoh to open his heart. In fact, he was causing the Pharaoh to harden his heart because of the reputation of the Levites. That even if he did want to circumcise his nation in accommodation or in an agreement with Moses so as not to cause a mass exodus or to cause a civil war, he couldn't do so because Moses was saying, I am of the family of Levites. We have in our past massacred those who have circumcised themselves in their weakness. So this was causing an impassable situation for the Pharaoh. And in fact, on the issue of the circumcision, Pharaoh's heart would be hardened.